you see how much, gas vehicles, I used to drive an M6 BMW, how much they spit out, how much they burn, it just became very crazy. And then it was 2019, over 4 years ago, 4.5 years ago, I bought my first Tesla, it was a Tesla X, and I've just was mind blown. Like, I bought it, and then when I get into the car and I started understanding, wow, they have unthunk the car, as I say, because it's probably not even proper English, but everything was different. No handbrake was the first big moment, and everything just happened automatically. I said, this is incredible. Within a week of buying that car, I bought a truckload of call options. That's it. So the idea, I think, is, identify huge disruption early. I always say get in early, get in hard. And that's been my focus in my entire life. And that's why I want to share things I see. But when you, again, it's a long-winded answer to your question, but when you look at Tesla, I mean, it has so much technology, so many moats, so many products. The world is so ripe for disruption. And at the same time, you got four S curves colliding at the same time. So it's just, it is just, I always say the future is bright and it's an exciting time to be alive.
So really it was thought of as electric car maker, right? A nice car, niche, Californians are going to love it. It's going to be this cool thing. And now you fast forward to 6 years, 7 years, still the same company, but then you have the electric car, you have the battery storage, you have full self-driving, you have the bot. You talked about right before we went live, the supercharger network news about how, again, they're saying they're going to open it. They've said this before, so hopefully they do it this time. You got insurance. So there's all these multifaceted things that are happening that are part of those S curves that you described. And what goes through my mind is, if I'm thinking about it from an investing perspective, I wonder how much, when will those things be recognized by the broader market for the potential that they have? Like a thing like energy, as an example, right? If I'm going to riff on energy for a little bit, energy, the battery business is going to be, it's going to be able to scale off of the electric vehicles back, meaning that they're going to be using the same materials, right? They're going to be using the batteries to ramp the car. The energy side just going to basically plug into the supply chain for the electric car, and they're just going to draw the batteries out of that supply chain. They're going to put a casing on it, call it a closet, boom, and then it becomes it becomes a mega pack, right? Yeah. And it doesn't seem like anybody has recognized that at all, and it seems like it really is a huge potential for the business long term. How do you think about that side of the business?
That's funny. The reason we connected was you retweeted something with Gary Black, and it was back in December of 2022, all those months ago. And I said, I responded to both of you, and I said, Gary, you're missing a huge opportunity here. You don't have Megapack in your numbers. And I kicked him a Google Doc. God knows if he saw it or not with my projections, but that's how we got connected. But yeah, and Gary is one of the shrewd ones. But then, you turn on things like CNBC and you listen to the analysts on TV, and sometimes I just want to cry. Like they're just they're so. There's no kind word for it, but they're leading people down a dark path and astray. There was two guys on talking about Tesla and shorting Bitcoin, and you got brilliant people like Bill Miller that I've known of for nearly 30 years, and him and his son get together. Let's short Tesla at 106. It's like, and I tweeted it immediately. I said, somebody please check on Bill Miller. He's just going down the wrong path. So you're dead right. People, I don't know what it is. I have this theory. I saw many years ago a movie called Idiocracy, of how humans are getting stupider and stupider over time. And we see that every day. You see it in government officials and all across the world. But, traditional Wall Street analysts now, they're stuck in this either echo chamber or inability to look outside the box or really understand what disruption is. And that, I think, is the blind spot that these analysts have. They can't wrap their heads around disruption and asymmetric bets. And so many people, the top analysts, so called Tesla, a car company. And when the stuff we're going to talk about today, you'll see it is clearly not a car company.